Couple of quick points before we get started. This webinar is being recorded. We will be sharing the recording with everyone who signed up. And a request for all of you is if you can share it within your network, if there's anyone that you know who wanted to know more about the program but are unable to join today, please do share this recording with them once you get them. And if you have any questions, please let us know. During the course of the webinar, if any questions pop up, please keep putting them in the chat box, and we'll get to them at the end of the presentation. The presentation shouldn't take too long. We'll walk through each component of the program. I'll introduce what we're trying to do here and how you can sign up, register, all of those things. And once we're done with the presentation part, we'll get to answering all of your questions one by one. All right, so welcome everyone to the information session for the Access Program hosted by the Burnaby Board of Trade. A quick brief is that the Access Program is a career development initiative that we're implementing, that we're executing to improve collaboration between post-secondary institutions, students, and the industry here in Burnaby and wider Metro Vancouver. So as I said, a quick overview was that it is a career development initiative by the Burnaby Board of Trade. The idea here is to improve employability for post-secondary students by implementing a bunch of different offerings such as networking, mentorship, trainings, and so on. And we'll walk through each of these components one by one in the coming slides. And the main idea, the main outcome that we're hoping to achieve by virtue of this program is to create a smoother transition for all of the students moving from their academic lives from academia to the workforce. A quick brief about the Burnaby Board of Trade. We serve as a vital link between businesses, the government, and the community here in Burnaby. We've been one of BC's leading business associations for well over a century. If I'm not wrong, I think closer to 120 years. The Board of Trade's been an active member of the community. We support businesses and professionals, across all different fields of work. And as of right now, we have over 1,100 members. That includes corporate members, individual members, independent business owners across Burnaby and Metro Vancouver. So we're very proud of that number. And most of our membership is really, really active and engaged. So that's a great network for you to explore. Now, jumping into the Access Program. We're going to walk through the four main components that we have. So we've designed this program in a way that where we feel we can add most amount of value to all the students participating in this program. The idea is to help improve your skill set, help improve your knowledge, and help you make those important professional connections, which are necessary for you to expand your professional network and then have a successful career here in BC. So four key components of this program. The first is the mentorship program. The second is trainings and webinars that we would be hosting for the duration of the program. They would all be complemented with multiple networking events that would happen as well. And the culmination would be with the career and job fair at the end of the Access Program. So we'll jump into each of those components one by one to give you a quick overview and a brief of what those aspects look like, what those components look like. So the mentorship program, this is the core pillar of the Access Program. This is something that we're working really, really hard to execute in a great way, something that's going to add a lot of value for all of you students out there. The idea here is to pair each student with a seasoned industry professional, a senior business leader, a mentor who is in a similar field of work as is your field of study and as is your career interest. So we're going to be asking a lot of questions from both the mentors and the prospective mentees in terms of what is their field of work, what are their professional goals. And for those students who've already signed up using our SurveyMonkey link, you would have seen that these questions are there. So we're trying to understand, we're trying to gauge what are you studying, where your career interests lie, where do you want to go in the future in terms of your career path, what are your professional goals. And so the reason we're asking those questions is we're going to make a really good, we're going to do our best to make, really optimum match with mentors who are in the same field as you. And most of our mentors, and we have quite a few signed up already, who have very graciously volunteered their time to be mentors in this program. They're all very, very experienced, very senior business leaders in the industry. So people with, over 15, 20 years of experience, some way over that as well. holding really senior leadership positions in a lot of organizations in Metro Vancouver in BC. So it's going to be a great program for all the students to learn and absorb information from such seasoned professionals. And so that's the idea that we want to bring with this mentorship program. Our idea is also to create meaningful engagement. So the way we want to do that is we don't want to have sessions with one mentor, mentoring 15, 20, 25 students. We don't want to have a classroom kind of a session. So we want to keep it really, really personalized. And that's why the mentor to student ratio is not going to go lower than 5:1. So it's going to be 5 students paired with one mentor. And that's going to be the maximum. So there will be cases where maybe a mentor would only have 2, 3, 4 students as well. Now, once those introductions are made, once the matching is done, which is going to be the first step of the program, once everyone's signed on, once all the students have signed on, once that introduction is done, we'll also make personal introductions at our kickoff event, which will be happening in April. You'll get information on that in due course. Once we make those personal introductions, in-person introductions, we will leave this aspect of the program onto the students and the mentors themselves. What I mean by that is the pure logistics of when do you want to meet and how do you want to meet. We leave that up to the mentors and up to the students to work out themselves. So whether you want to have a virtual conversation over Zoom, or you want to have an in-person meeting, do you want to meet in the morning, you want to meet in the evening, all of that is completely up to you. We do have a guideline as part of the program that we are sharing with mentors. We will also be sharing that with the students, with the mentees, of what is expected in terms of deliverables from each side, from each party as part of the program. So we do request at least one session, a 1-hour session per month of the program. So there is the program duration, we'll get to that as well in a minute, is about 4 months. So we do expect a minimum of 4 to 5 hours of mentorship during the course of the program. As well as, you would have in-person engagements during the networking events where the mentors would be present as well. So you'd have the opportunity to connect with them in person as well. And obviously you get the exposure to their wider network. You might have an opportunity to accompany them at other networking events, expand your professional network through them. So that is something that we're really keen on bringing out to the students and giving the students this opportunity via the mentorship program. So a second core component of the Access program, the trainings and webinar sessions. So we're in the process of planning out trainings and webinars on different topics. We did a lot of a study on what it is that we feel is a gap between students who are studying in the post-secondary institutions and when they come into the workplace. So you have a lot of academic knowledge, but what is it that is still missing in terms of what is actually used in your day-to-day in the workplace? So obviously there's a lot of soft skills development that we want to do. We're already planning out a couple of HR workshops. So those HR workshops are more focused on resume building, interview preparation, networking strategies. And all these workshops and trainings would be conducted by really seasoned industry professionals. So you'd get a really good insight at what it is an HR person's looking at when they're going through the hiring process, especially focused on, young graduates and people very early on in their careers as well. We're also going to be having professional development sessions for you, and as well as digital skills trainings as well. So that focuses on what's relevant to what you would be using in the workplace. And all of these skills and most of these skills are transferable across industries. So if you feel like, oh, I'm a finance professional, is that really relevant to me? Or, I'm in marketing or I'm in tech. So these are skills that we feel are going to be easily transferable across all industries and are very relevant to every single field of study. The third component, which I'm really excited about, is the networking events. Networking events are a great way for you to meet prospective employers, to meet prospective networking professionals, seasoned industry professionals, expand your professional network. But again, here we took a step back. We kind of thought, okay, there's a lot of networking events that happen, in and around Vancouver, and they happen multiple times a year. Different fields, different organizations host these events. So, but there's some ways where we felt we could add an improvement to this style of event. So we really thought about what could we do to improve these events. Now, from a student's perspective and reflecting back to my time as a student as well, networking events seemed pretty daunting. You would enter a room full of 300, 200, 300 people, and you wouldn't know who to talk to. And sometimes it can get really overwhelming. As a student, when you enter those rooms and you're really overwhelmed with the crowd, you don't know who to talk to, you don't know how to initiate that conversation with someone, a really senior business leader. And more often than not, there are small tables, standing tables where people are talking to each other. And one person's been surrounded by like 20 students and no one can get their conversation going. And it's really, really difficult. So the way we're going to introduce a Board of Trade kind of twist on this is we're going to do a speed dating style roundtable networking event that we're planning. So the way that's going to work is we're going to have a lot of industry professionals, let's say hypothetically 8 to 10 industry professionals. Each person's going to have a roundtable dedicated to themselves. And all the students, all the participants are going to have their bios beforehand. So you'd know exactly who is at which table. You're all going to go and say, okay, I want to speak to this person who's on table number 1, table 5, and table 8, right? So you know before you go to the event that you want to talk to these 3 people, these 4 people. And once you're at the event, about 6 to 8 students per table at one time. And so you have all the tables filled out. You get about 10 minutes each table. So you're going to have really meaningful conversations with just like a few students talking to one senior industry professional. You're going to have a good, meaningful conversation for about 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Buzzer goes off and you switch tables. So then you go to the next table that you want to talk to. So this way, hosting a networking event in this way, we're really excited to be, introducing this style of networking event. It's going to be really impactful. There's going to be a lot more meaningful conversations. And so we're really excited to be bringing this to you as well. Another style of networking event that we're going to be implementing is the elevator pitch networking. The idea here is to introduce the concept and help students refine their elevator pitches. So you get an opportunity to present your career goals to recruiters, to senior industry leaders in a really short, concise, quick, effective manner. And you get this as a platform to help understand, practice, and develop your elevator pitches for yourselves. Outside of these events, which are exclusive to the Access program, students will also have the opportunity to attend multiple other BBOT events that we host throughout the year. As the Board of Trade in Burnaby, we host over 70 events every year. So you'll be getting student discounts or preferential, ticket options to attend all of those events as well. So you're more than welcome to join those events and expand your network via them. The last component of the Access program, the major component, is the career and job fair. So we will be culminating the program. We'll be closing out the program in end of July with a job fair. The aim here, again, is to provide students with a platform, where they can have those meaningful conversations with recruiters, with businesses, and secure those interviews that can help them start their careers once they graduate from their institutions. But again, we took a step back and we thought, all right, job fairs are fairly common. They happen, quite often, multiple times a year, hosted by multiple organizations. But where is it that we can improve the way they're conducted? How can we further improve the process of a job fair? And the first thing that came to mind is when you go to a job fair as a student, you have some really, really good conversations. You make fantastic connections with senior business people, with recruiters over there as well. But in our experience, almost all of those conversations end with a similar kind of a feedback, which says like, oh, we think you'd be great for this position. We think you'd be great in our organization. Here's our website. Here's our careers page. Why don't you go on our website, go on our careers page, and fill out this application? To be fair, that's a great way to do things, but you could have done that without going to the job fair as well. And once you go back from the job fair and fill out that application, you're lost in hundreds of other applications online. And so it's very difficult to differentiate yourself from all those other applications. And you've kind of lost the meaning of making that personal connection at that job fair, right? So here's where we're going to bring a little bit of a twist on it. We're going to be clearly setting a mandate for all the organizations that are participating, for all the businesses that are participating in the job fair, that they need to have a dedicated fast-track interview process for all the participants at that fair, for all the students who are coming to that fair. What that means is, and we're still in the process of developing it and having those conversations with employers, what that means is an employer meets with 20 students during the entire job fair. At the end of the day, we want him to let us know that, yes, I am calling these 4 or 5 students to interviews next week. And whether they do that through a paper-based application, whether they do that through elevator pitches at the job fair itself, we leave that up to them to decide. But that is a very clear mandate from our side that we don't want a generic response of go and apply on the website. There needs to be a dedicated way in which students can leverage this network, they can leverage this access program, and they can be fast-tracked to an interview process. Now, again, there is, in all likelihood and in all honesty, there's not going to be direct hiring at this job fair, but our intention is to create a platform where you can get an interview straight up with the business that you're interested in working with. Another benefit is even if at the job fair you don't find a role that's suitable for you at this time, it opens doors. You would have direct engagement with recruiters, you'd have direct engagement with hiring managers who would be present at that job fair, so you could build those networks, build that relationship, and that could open doors for you down the line as well. So that's a great event to be a part of. What do we hope to achieve from this whole program? Obviously, as we started by saying that the main goal here is to improve employability for students, to enhance your career readiness. So that's going to happen with all the trainings, with the webinars, with the mentorship aspect. You're going to get a chance to expand your professional network in a great way when you make those connections with seasoned industry professionals, with business leaders. It's going to improve your hiring potential as a student, and you're going to have direct access to job openings which you may not see elsewhere. You're going to have direct access to build those relationships with recruiters, with hiring managers, and obviously it's going to create a really strong employer-student relationship as well. So why should you join? Well, for all of the reasons that I just mentioned. It's going to help you boost your job readiness. It's going to improve your career prospects. You're going to be building a professional network that you can develop and grow over the years. And you're also going to be getting an opportunity to build a peer network. That's because there's going to be students from multiple institutes, as we have today on this webinar. We have students from 5 to 6 different post-secondary institutes in the region. So you're going to not only build a professional network with seasoned professionals, but you're also going to be building your peer network with students from other institutes. That is a great platform to do that as well. So quick overview on what the program looks like. We're looking at kicking off the program in April. The program's going to run for a duration of 4 months, culminating with the job fair at the end of July. Eligibility, so we have mentioned final 2 years of your post-secondary program. The idea for that eligibility was, so we have students who are ready to have conversations regarding hiring, ready to have conversations regarding, what their next steps in the careers look like. It is not a hard line eligibility. So we do understand that there's a lot of programs. Some programs are only 2 years, some are 3, some are 4. So depending on that, students are welcome to join, even if they're not specifically in the final 2 years, or if there's no final 2 years of your program. But the idea for that was basically so that students who are part of this access program have an option to, oh, I'm sorry, I think there's an alarm going on. I am still going to go through with this. I apologize for the sound at the back.
Yeah, sorry, guys. We have to cut it short.
We do?
Yeah, it could be a real fire. We don't know.
Oh, I apologize for that, everyone. There seems to be a fire alarm going on, and so we would have to cut it short. The program structure is on the screen. I'll just quickly wrap up in 30 seconds. You have this information here. I'm also going to just quickly switch over to the next slide so you can see my email addresses here. Please reach out to me if you have any questions. We did hope to have time to answer questions on the chat. I will go through the chat. I will send you guys your responses to any questions that are there already. Please feel free to reach out to me by email. Really apologize for cutting this short because of the fire alarm, but we don't have an option here and we do have to step outside. Thank you very much, and we'll see you shortly.
We'll be in touch. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.